Hello, and welcome to We Built This White Lake. My name is Amy Van Loon, Executive Director of the White Lake Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm your host of We Built This, which is a series of podcasts interviewing local business owners in our community. And today with us, we have Dan and Jen Hain, co-owners of Fetch Brewery. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Great to have you with us in our podcast recording studio today. And we're going to go ahead and jump right in.
Yeah.
And Jen, I'm going to start with you. Tell us a little bit about Fetch.
So Fetch Brewing started in 2014, right on the downtown corner in Whitehall. And we're a microbrewery. Dan is our brewer, and he brews all of the beer that we sell on site, right in the basement. And we love to be a part of this community and offer craft beer.
Excellent. Such an iconic location.
Mm-hmm.
We hear it time and time again, location, and so visible, to those that are either walking, around or those that are driving by. So that is a little bit about who you are today. Share with our listeners a little bit about where you came from. How did all of this magic happen? Where did it all begin?
Ooh, that is a great question. So Dan, if you want to explain the home brewing part of it.
Yeah, I started home brewing back in 1994. I worked for a chemical company that supplied specialty chemicals to the paper industry. And one of the engineers there befriended us and taught us how to homebrew. That was pretty fun. Mm-hmm. And so we'd have a little homebrew competitions and stuff. And I did that on and off, made a lot of good and a lot of bad beer for about 20 years. And so we started looking. We actually did not like our jobs. I mean, like most everybody. So we started looking for a location and daydreaming and just seeing if it was even feasible and playing with that idea. So. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then that daydreaming turned into trying to work on a business plan, and that made it more real. When we realized getting the right people looking over our business plan and everything, scrubbing it for feasibility, that this was a possibility. So then we started looking for a location, and that corner building was available, and the stars kind of aligned. And we also had a lot of ignorance on our side because we had never done anything.
Sure.
And ignorance is truly bliss. So we went into this abandoned building that was stripped of all utilities and everything, and was in a state of disrepair. And we said, it's perfect, not realizing the level of work that was ahead of us. But that's part of our journey, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was about a year and a half of build out, doing as much as we could. When I say we, mostly Dan, taking down old plaster, taking down stuff off the walls, just doing whatever he could do on nights and weekends.
To
save money. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was hard, fun, and tough.
Yeah. But
I wouldn't change it.
Yeah. We definitely have a lot of sweat equity, and those are really fond memories for us too. So
okay. Yeah.
Jen,
I remember meeting you before all this happened. Mm-hmm. And when this, vision came upon you you had shared with me your vision and your dream. And I think I looked at you like you had grown a third eye.
Yeah.
Right. And like, what in the world is, this? And this is too, when breweries were such an infant stage concept, to not only our community, but our state. Mm-hmm. So you were really branching into an industry that was unknown to many.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially around here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that was one of our biggest hurdles was, when we finally opened in 2014, was explaining. Dan and I had already been familiar with the industry. We sought out the industry in other locations because that was our passion. Mm-hmm. But explaining to the White Lake area what microbreweries are and what we have to offer and what we do, it still is sometimes part of the process. That initial hurdle we were able to overcome very quickly, and we were embraced by the people who are still embracing us to this day. Oh, yeah. And then there's still a part of the community that's unsure of the industry itself, and that, you know, we're not just another bar, or you know, that we are an all-inclusive, welcoming space, whether you like beer or not. So
Sure.
yeah, so we still have that to overcome a little bit.
Sure. Knowing now what you know, and what would you have done differently in those beginning stages? And I'll ask either one of you, whether it be part of the brewing process or even the building itself.
The brewing process was pretty straightforward. It was a little overwhelming coming from a homebrew small scale to a larger scale. I didn't get any sleep the night before the first batch was made. I was like just freaking out. But that was the easy part. It was mostly the hard part was the investors and gathering that and do we have enough money to do this? We spent our life savings on this place, and it was overwhelming.
Yes.
So, and after all build out was done, I was sitting at the end of the bar with a hammer in my hand, and we were opening that day or next day, and I'm like, I don't know what else to do. I was like, because I was in build out mode for so long. So
Yeah.
long. But yeah.
And I think in hindsight too, while that our location is fantastic, it does come with some limitations because it's a bank that was built in 1912, 1914.
Yeah.
And so brewing equipment is rather large. And so there are restrictions on how big we can grow, how big we can get, being in the basement of an old 1900s bank building. And then just land restrictions. But we work with what we have, and we're grateful for what we have, and it's worked for us for almost 9 years now. So
wow.
Yeah.
And that kind of covers I was going to ask, what are some of those hurdles? And, the building itself, you probably have a love-hate relationship with
Yes.
it.
That's very
I can, relate. So that would probably be one of the hurdles.
absolutely. Absolutely. Taking a 1900s bank building that had then been vacant for decades and having it meet current code is challenging. Code became the new 4-letter word for us because it's very difficult. And then we were able to do that, which, lengthening stairs and everything. And while it's a large building, it's very segmented. So we have to get very creative with space, even just storage space. It gets really tricky and interesting. So yeah, that would be one of the biggest hurdles. When a pallet of grain shows up, Dan has to throw them down the basement steps and go down to the basement and repallet them. It's just 55-pound grain bags, probably, 50 of them.
Yeah, 42 on a scale.
40,
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes, it's good exercise. It keeps you in shape.
Yeah, for sure.
Your secret?
No, it's breaking my body down. It's destroying it.
Right.
But
yeah.
I think the fire suppression was the biggest surprise.
Yes.
So, because we could only use the main floor if we didn't fire suppress everything, and we didn't put that in the budget. And it was like a big scramble. So, and to utilize the basement and the upstairs, the mezzanine and stuff, we had to have everything fire suppressed. So that was a big hurdle. So
we tried thinking of all the loopholes. Well, can we just put in a fire pole? Can we put in a slide? But no.
Well, you have a beautiful space. It is exactly that. It is very welcoming, and it's unique. Whenever we bring friends in there, we always have to show them the safe. That is just a cool thing in itself. Shifting a little bit more to the brewery side of it, is there that brotherhood that you have with other brewers? Is that a thing? It
really is.
Yeah.
We just had a festival up in Traverse City over the weekend, and it's like you go back to your hometown and see all your best friends. I mean, everybody's more than willing to chat and help out with any issues you have. They'll come and hold your hand, call you, give you grain, raw materials, everything.
Wow,
So
yeah.
it really is true. No one's backstabbing somebody or bad mouthing you. It's just a great bunch of people. It's a great industry.
And probably if you've seen one brewery, you've only seen one brewery, right? They're
Yes.
all probably unique, and
Absolutely.
different in
Totally
their own
different.
right. Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, I've never seen an industry like this prior. There is so much love, and there's just this combined understanding, of what we've all gone through and go through on a regular basis, that it does create that camaraderie instantly.
Sure.
So it's fantastic.
Yeah. No food.
No. However, we've been food friendly for 8.5 years. That was another thing, is
Love that.
educating the community what that means. So you're welcome to bring food in from anywhere and everywhere, even from home. But we are on the tail end of installing a kitchen.
All right.
In our back room. So it'll be a small kitchen. We're not looking to, really change the footprint of White Lake as far as what is offered for full-scale restaurants. But we certainly do want to accommodate people who are coming to fetch already. So we're in the works right now.
That's great. That's exciting.
It is.
So,
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Scary.
Another element to
Yeah.
your establishment.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of restaurants around here, and everybody always looking for something new and different. So
Yeah.
it'll help.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You've already shared a little bit about some of those victories, that you've had in the past, we say 9 years?
Yeah.
What else? What would you say? What is something that you really can kind of, hang your hat on that, wow, this is something we overcome?
Sure. As far as overcoming, we're all in the collective COVID boat where everybody's, who's still around has overcome COVID. So I think that's just kind of a universal understanding of overcoming for every industry. But we're really proud to have done that. Another victory is our staff. Our staff has been amazing. Most of them have been there since the first year.
Wow.
We have very little turnover. Even coming out of COVID, all of our staff came back. We were never short-staffed. After COVID, we were kind of overstaffed because not everybody was ready to go back out yet. But I just love that. It's a whole second family in and of itself. So, and we rely on them heavily.
Sure.
I think our staff is our biggest victory. Dan's beer, of course, he's a fantastic brewer. He wouldn't admit that, but I can say it for him.
I try. Right, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every batch, so I'm always tweaking. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a perfectionist, and I love that. And then our community honestly just supports the heck out of us. They're wonderful. We have they call themselves Fetch Family too, as they should. So our core group of regulars, they didn't necessarily even know each other before Fetch opened. Now they vacation together, and they're
putting flowers in today.
Yeah, they're putting flowers in today outside.
So amazing.
It's just amazing. So, yeah, I think all of our successes above and beyond the beer are all just people related.
It's community, a gathering
Community,
spot.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Socializing. It really is fun.
It really is.
Like Jen said earlier, it's like you don't have to drink alcohol at all. It's
No.
just come in and socialize. But there's still people that we have to try to convince to do that because they
Yes.
think, I don't drink alcohol, so I'm not going to go there.
Okay.
Nothing to do with it.
Nope.
Sure.
Just come on in. Yeah.
A lot of that has to say about who you are as not only owners, but also as a business, and feeling that love, anything from the staff to the product that you provide to the feeling the love from the community. I think that, that says a lot for, I think, who you are as
thank you.
individuals too.
Thanks.
And you've diversified also. You've provided now an outdoor area.
Yes.
You've provided entertainment.
Yep.
And, different events that you have within
Yes.
the establishment.
Absolutely. So one of our biggest group. We have a lot of groups that meet. So we have live music on Saturdays, year round, and then additional days throughout the year as well. And then we have the Fetch Cycling Group, which is huge and strong and amazing. And they are a force to be reckoned with. We have the running group, which kind of ebbs and flows. Wintertime dies off, and then it has to build momentum again. In the past we've hosted knitting groups. We've had different like arts and crafts evenings. And those draw a lot of people who aren't necessarily interested in beer, or it's their first time there, which is really neat to see. And then coming up like in June 20th, we're holding a Juneteenth Q&A. Nice. So just as much as we can offer for the community, I think it's important. I mean, as much as we can give back.
It is important. And another thing that I admire, many things that I admire, but also you serve a purpose for not only our locals, and those that you see on a regular basis, but also our tourists, our visitors. So they're, again, multifaceted of the customers that you're serving.
Yeah. Yeah. We get and that's reflective of our location in the White Lake area, receiving a lot of tourists just because of how amazing the White Lake area is. And then also on the other side of it is the industry. It's people who patronize breweries will go on brewcations. They will, and we used to do that too before we had a business and 3 kids, travel far and wide to check out any brewery they haven't been to yet. So
before we go anywhere, is there a brewery there?
Right. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I wanna know.
Exactly. Yeah. So we get that in. And now with having 2 additional ones in Montague, it just brings more people in.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Fantastic.
Great. What kind of parting message would you like to project to our viewers today?
I think that we certainly appreciate the White Lake area, all of the people who regularly come to our place and invite the rest of the White Lake area in. We're family friendly. We are all accepting, and we, have a place for everybody. So, and you don't have to like beer to come to Fetch Brewing. And we're just really proud to be a part of the continued history of White Lake.
Yay, nice. And we're proud of you as well. Fetch Brewing Company is a feather in our cap. You're definitely such a staple in our downtown area. I love the message that you, give to your visitors. And we're really proud to have you there, and just to even see that growth in the past 9 years. Wow. You think 10 years ago, would you have ever dreamed of being in this situation? So, really proud of both of you.
Thank you.
As well as what Fetch brings to our community. So for our listeners, if you have not been to Fetch, I definitely want to extend that invitation to you. You have regular hours throughout the upcoming season.
We do. Yes.
All right.
Our summer hours are right around the corner. So we'll be opening at noon every day and 10 p.m. Except for on the weekends, it'll be 11 p.m.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Be sure to check out the website.
Yes, fetchbrewing.com.
All right. As well as any social media post that you may be making on a regular basis. And be sure to follow them so you can stay in touch with the latest and the greatest going on at Fetch Brewing Company. So once again, thank you for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, Jen. And
thank you
very much.